Hello viewers, you're welcome yet again to your business program, the NTA2 Business Matters program, where we actually bring about not just insight, but ideas that can help your business thrive. My name is Stephen Hipalibo Lawson. You're welcome one more time. The Nigerian economic landscape, especially our debt profile, is facing a lot of challenges. We are servicing our debt, as a matter of fact, in comparison in terms of ratio to the GDP, of a figure that is far beyond 20%, if not so much more. How will the economy be able to go if we're not able to create a major source of earnings that can help us, as a matter of fact, fund our budget? What is the forex market like, as the case might be? And how much of the money are we, obviously, as a country, bringing in for us to be able to just pursue not just our debt in terms of servicing, but also pursue our capital projects? All of this we're going to explore on today's program. Let us have our business update. Joining me in the studio today is a distinguished professional, a man who, as a matter of fact, needs little or no introduction. But as a way of us understanding, especially the fact that I'm so excited having him in the studio again, I'm talking about an individual who holds a bachelor's degree in accounting from the Bayero University, Kano, in the year 1987. He also has a master's in accounting from the University of Lagos. He was a council member of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, and a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers. He is the chairman presently of MTI PLC and Mimac Resources Limited, and also a director in Urban Development Bank of Nigeria PLC, APT Pension Funds Managers Limited, Clay Barge Limited, and APT Bureau de Change Limited, among others companies. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the Managing Director, CEO of APT or Apt Securities and Funds Limited, Mr. Kasimu Garba Kurfi. How are you, sir?
Yeah.
It's good to have you one more time on Business
Yes,
Matter.
yes.
We're looking at this topic, which is very passionate in my mind, as a matter of fact, the Nigerian forex market, bridging the gap of our national revenue base. Presently, in the year 2024, the budget itself is quite humongous. As a matter of fact, this present administration inherited an economy, a lot of people have often said, that actually arrived dead, as the case is, because we had a very high debt profile. We are not even sure how much in terms of earnings we are going to have to be able to, feed or finance the budget. And then we have a situation where the Nigerian naira against the dollar is rising every single day. What has been your own impression about this whole quagmire that we find ourselves as a nation?
Well, actually, we have these gaps, but this gap was not addressed properly. In most of the countries that move into single exchange rate, they always identified the gap. What is the gap between the official and the exchange rate, and what are the quantum of the demand? Had it been we have done that, we identify, is it 5 billion, is it 3 billion, is it 8 billion, whatever the gap are. You first, before you move into that exchange rate, go and address the World Bank, the IMF, and say, look, you have been advocating for single exchange rate. I'm ready for it. But these are my gaps. Are you willing and ready to give me a loan that meet up these gaps so that it will work smoothly? That's what ought to have been done. Cairo have done it, and today, to some extent, they have stability better than us. Most of the country goes into this because World Bank advocate for single exchange rate, IMF advocate for the single exchange. They are willing and ready to give you enough dollar that will mitigate the gap. That's what ought to have been done.
Well, but in that case, if you look at the forex market, you have different players. We have the parallel market in terms of its pricing. We have the official market in terms of its own pricing. We have bureau de change, who are the official players, as against the aboki and the most of the time people say the malam on the streets and the rest of that. Would that not have created a situation where the threats in terms of the sustainability of these operators will actually not be able to
It will
happen?
not, because they are all looking from the same source. Most of the bureau de change, they don't get their dollar from the Western Union. They got it from the banks.
Okay.
When the CBN give them allotment, you will see that by the time they give them allotment, the price crash. It's toward the end of the week, then the price rise back. So we all know their demand and we can mitigate it. Most of the companies, when they go for the official exchange rate, they cannot meet it. So whatever they got, they augment it from the parallel market.
Black market.
So the question is that the market is known and the sources are known. But we should have first identified the gap. And this is one of the areas that we didn't do. So that is one of the challenge. The other issue is that we know what we are getting from diaspora.
True.
The policy of the CBN should have make it more encouraging that yes, remittance from diaspora should be extended to the owner in their US dollars. The reason is very obvious. Today, most of these union money transfer, what they do, they give them the higher rate in Naira. So most of the remittance doesn't reach the country. If you just identify your brother, your uncle, you say that you have sent this dollar to him, the Western Money Union will reach to that person and say, this is the rate that is in the market, I'm willing to pay you at this. He will say, okay, give me the Naira.
Wow.
So they will give them the Naira and return the US dollar without remitting it into the country. And that is one of the gaps that we must mitigate against this. And this was encouraging by our policy. Because the policy whereby they say you cannot do this, you cannot do this, so people will look for alternative. Remember, it's just recently the CBN comes that there is no gap. So the exchange rate, you the bank, exchange at the market dictate. But before you do that, you will ensure that all remittance in diaspora reach into the country. That will have mitigated against us. Not only that, you don't allow speculators to dictate the pace. Nobody allowed speculator because speculator there is a spoiler. Today, bank participate in speculation. Believe me sincerely, if the CBN decided to descend on the bank, you will be surprised how many billions of dollars you will get from the banks.
Wonderful.
Yes, people speculate. They will use their Naira, convert it to dollar and keep the dollar. Why should you allow this? No any country allowed their currency to be used against speculators because speculators are the spoiler of the market. Today, individually, people are keeping cash, dollars. Many stocks rent, go to Lagos, you will see houses pricing in dollars.
That's
you
true.
will see so many things in dollars. Nobody tolerates this.
That's
you
true.
never try it in US, you never try it in British.
That's true.
And for us to get control, so it's not only the monetary policy, we need the fiscal policy.
As well.
We need the government intervention that give them chance, maybe 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. Anybody that hold currency, hard currency, should remit it back to the bank, or else we will forfeit it.
We're dealing with
straightforward.
foreign currencies, which I can actually hold on to. So how do you close that gap?
The president can give his order and give within 2 weeks. If you didn't remit it, anybody that hold $5,000 and above will forfeit it. Give them 2 weeks. Remit it into the bank. It's your money. Or else, if we catch you, we forfeit it.
Won't that affect the business of the bureau de change? How will those ones be able to stay above water?
It will not. The bureau de change also deals in the bank. They have their US dollar in the bank. If you go to bureau de change now, you give the money, they can remit it through the bank. So let every be channeled into the bank. And make it as a law, anybody that hold $5,000 and above cash, we catch you, you forfeit it. And make an incentive. Nobody get $10,000 alone. So those who promoted them in getting the dollar, remitting it into their warehouses. Just make it an incentive, 10%. If you identify as any person that has dollar, we catch him, we'll give you 10%.
More like a whistleblower policy.
Yes, now, by the time you do this, you will see that all those that first give them the room to remit back to the bank within 2 weeks, or else you forfeit it. By the time you go to each state, just deal with the first 3%. Forfeit their dollars. Before you know it, you will see people will no longer fall for US dollar speculation.
Would that approach be able to address the value of our naira in terms of
yes, immediately, because now people have no respect for naira. They want to go into hard currency. You say not to it. You are Nigerian. You use naira to buy your foil. You use naira to buy your food stop. You use naira to pay your school fee, and any other institution that decided to price anything outside naira, they will be closed.
But Mr. Kurfi, let us trend a little bit on murky waters. When we talk about the issue of the speculation, or rather in terms of dollarization of the Nigerian economy, you find that those who are actually guilty are the politicians, as well as certain even agents of the government. Where do you think, in terms of driving a fiscal policy, in terms of those procedures, that itself will actually, hold water?
Most of these politicians, with the exception of the governor, nobody has any protection. And if you want to deal with this kind of situation, deal with the untouchable. When you deal with those ones, everybody will follow the suit. And you will see that the question of mopping the dollar just for mere speculation will stop. And that will stabilize this. And by the time you get stability, other policy will follow up. I have seen that CBN dashed more than 5 policies from January to date. Yet did not change. And it will not change because monetary policy along without fiscal policy will not supplement it.
That's true.
So the president had to be armed and be ready to deal with the situation. There is nothing that's out of control. And you will not allow people to destroy your economy. Because the moment people have no respect for the naira, they don't value naira, you are finished. So they look somewhere else. In the rural area, they don't keep dollar. What
Not
they
at
do,
all.
every food, every item that is viable, they will just buy it and warehouse it.
So are we saying the speculation of this speculation, as a matter of fact, is a major reason why our naira is losing value? Or could it be that we have not been a very productive economy for us to be able to even attract foreign direct investment and then, of course, expand the economy as well as create jobs?
It's both.
Okay.
First, look at the supply. I'm telling you, if assuming we are selling 2 million barrels per day, we will now have more dollars to be able to meet our demand, but it's not coming.
That's true.
If the remittance are being remit to the Nigerian banks, will have at least another substantial part of the dollar, and that will be able to meet up the demands.
Let me pause you and let's go on a short break, because this is a particular question I'm very sure will make up for the rest of the program. Viewers, please stay tuned. This conversation continues after this short break. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, this is Business Matters, and I'm in the studio with the MD&Ceo of Apt Securities and Funds Limited, Mr. Kasimu Garba Kurfi, and we've been looking at the topic, the Nigerian forex market, bridging the gap of our national revenue base. And it's been a heated conversation, as a matter of fact, and I'm excited, sir, because before we went on that short break, we have looked at the issue in terms of speculation vis-a-vis our earning potentials. And you had been talking about the fact that our major source of foreign exchange in the country, I don't even think it's agriculture, I don't think it's even the telecoms or the services, is the oil and gas industry. And you were exchanging some thoughts on that, sir. So you want to go ahead?
Yes, really, we have no choice than to do everything humanly possible to see that our productivity increase. Because we need more than 2 million barrels per day.
Which, as a matter of fact, our OPEC target is within that same corridor, and yet I don't think we're actually measuring up to that.
If we can produce to meet up and go beyond, we can go alliance with OPEC. They can understand our peculiarity.
True.
Nigeria is not Algeria. Nigeria is not Iran. We are talking of 230 million people. So we have all what to take, and all of them, they can sympathize with our situation. That is one. Two, if you can increase productivity of the crude oil, because that is one of the major sources of this, it will give us relief. Three, with our outlet, if you look at it, what comes in goes out. Today, we are talking consuming over 30 million liters of PMS. And this has to get dollars to import it. Even in Lagos, you see filling stations are in queue because they cannot go and buy it because it's beyond their reach. So we have a refinery that is in production and that can meet our need. It's just for the presidency to come and sit down with this company. Look, we pay you, we give you crude oil pures in Naira. Sell your product in Naira. Chapter closed. Nobody import anything.
But I mean, we're talking about Dangote refinery. We can mention that. But when you look at that, it's a private enterprise where they're going to make a case that even the source, or in terms of the capital that is sourced, obviously has to be paid back. So if the government is able to reach into those kinds of deals, and we know the NNPC has some kind of pact, and of course partnership with the Dangote refinery.
You see,
and then the Port Harcourt refinery obviously seems to be on stream.
Most of the crude oil now, even produced by Nigeria, has to pay it in dollar. And this is not going to help the economy. How do you help the economy? Okay, give us, we need these 30 million PMS liter.
Okay.
Which
the country consumes.
Produce it. Okay, produce it. This one will give you the crude oil, pay us in Naira, sell it in Naira. We can dictate the price. And by so doing, you will get efficiency. Once, he will be in full production. Two, we'll have enough supply. Three, we don't need US dollar to import this product.
So how do you deal with the cartel?
And
but there is an obvious cartel in the economy.
Let me tell you, in economics, once you get a single supplier and can meet up the market demand, the cartel will go down. That is first, meet up your demand. Three, close your border. Nobody should take our product outside. Because the moment you allowed the product to meet up your this thing, and all our porous borders will allow them to be taken, you will see that the same number of trucks are produced, the same number are taken outside the country. Because the rich people are ready to make rich by all means. So you have to first protect your country. Make sure that these are supplied within the need of our need. If this is done, he doesn't need to pay us in dollar. We produce the same product, pay us in Naira. We use the Naira to share our revenue among the state. You can take it that. The moment you do that, you will see that the quantum of dollar we are using to import these PMS is over. Why should the refinery start working and only producing aviation and diesel? What are the quantum of diesel and aviation consumed in this country compared to the PMS? The simple reason that he will not produce PMS is simply because the price is not right. I cannot pay you in dollar and now sell my PMS at 600. It's never done. How much is he selling diesel? Over 1,000. How much is he selling the aviation? It's in dollars. All this can be stopped. Any airline that come to Nigeria, take our aviation, pay Naira. This will reduce the demand of the dollar. And this will give respect for our Naira. And therefore, the common man will not be rushing, instead of keeping your money, saving your money, and putting it into the bank so that the bank can lend it to those who are in need of it to make use. They are now all diverting this money into speculation. The quantum of the scarcity in the food, nobody will tell you that it's scarcity of the food, but the price. So what it means, the channel of supplying the food is there available, but the price keeps on rising. And no any country or government will allow this to continue, because unless you don't want peace. Will you be reviewing your salary daily? The question is no. And once people are hungry, so you will see that so many things will come to it. So you must make sure that there is availability of the food. So nobody should go and warehouse it. It happened in Kano. The governor went and checked some warehouses. Suddenly the price crashed down.
That's true.
The food is there,
yeah.
But people don't mind to make life more bearable to you, because they don't mind to warehouse this food and not release it. Every day you go, the price increase. And this is not good for the nation. And that is why we need not only monetary policy, we need fiscal policy. Because people have to be checkmated. Why should your neighbor warehouse 1,000 bag of rice when you don't have one? And they keep on rising the pricing. Because you look at his warehouse, as the price keep on increasing, his gain is keep on increasing. This shouldn't be allowed.
But people will question the fact that don't we have price control boards in the country?
We don't have.
But we have agencies that actually
look, let me tell you,
are actually being empowered for that.
Let me tell you, the only one that has price control is the petroleum. But since they deregulated it, no anybody, even here, if you go to mobile filling station, the price is different from NNPC filling station, and nobody checkmate it. So we don't have price control. But what we are saying that we should check the greeds of those who want to warehouse it and keep it. No, keep your naira. Will ensure that there is value in naira. So if you keep your naira, give it to the bank, they will give you returns.
Do you think that we have far more dollars stocked away than we have even the naira in circulation?
We will not say we have more. But what we are saying, the quantum of dollar within the banks, within the individual, is more than enough for our needs. It's more than enough for our need, but because the government did not checkmate this speculation.
So what about the educational sector, where, I mean, the CBN governor actually said part of the reasons why we seem to have a huge demand on the dollars is the fact that a lot of these funds are actually using to...
You may not know.
To fund the education.
If you have done your statistic, I can tell you in the last 2 years, 50% of the students that travel abroad, they are no more. For instance, take Sudan. I know thousands of Nigerians go to Sudan, do many medicine and what have you. Today, Sudan is in trouble, and they cannot. Ukraine is in war. There is a lot of Nigerians there. So what happened? Even the Federal Medical Center decided to increase the intake of university students in medicine. I know most of the Nigerian university now, especially the private, they have doubled their intake, because they see there is nowhere to go. Secondly, how much is it? It costs you between 6 to 7 million per student. If you are going to send your child to read medicine abroad, the minimum you will spend $15,000. Even $10,000, you are talking about 15 million. Then now, if you read in Nigerian university, you spend half of that money. So even the foreign are willing to go to private university. And don't forget that with the new policy, I don't envisage any university calling for strike, because it is over. People doesn't believe that had situation change everything. Before 1984, how many universities, almost all the Nigerian universities, in one time or the other, they have been closed because of the food strike. Since 1984, when the General Buhari removed the food subsidy, from 1984 to today, tell me if there is any single university that ever closed because of food crisis. None.
No.
So you can see, we were in the university, we find it very difficult, but today it's a history.
You people benefited. Benefited from that.
We benefited part of it, but we did part of it, because it was when we were in the university that they come with this issue of no food subsidy, no food subsidy. I will go with 50 kobo, I will eat rice with chicken. Now I have to go and sit down and learn how to cook.
Oh my God.
Many students change into that, but the beauty of it, from 1984 to today, we are talking of 40 years. No single university closed because of the food. That is good. Now they say, okay, charge reasonably. What does it cost you to do a medicine in any federal university? Let them have $1 million. You need to do 12 times of this. You need a minimum of 6 million to read medicine in any private university. Will you say the government is not subsidizing? Every reasonable person knows that the government subsidizes. Because you will pay 6 to 7 million in the private university for medicine, what you will pay less than 500,000 in the federal university. So because of this, they raise their intakes. Because what take you to get a medicine in Unilag or ABU or in Suka or Ibadan, I can tell you with less of that you will get into the private university. Because the competition is very high, and therefore they make Only those who are extremely good are allowed to read into that. But the beauty of it, now they say charge some reasonable amount and take care of your lecturer allowances. So if University A fail to pay their lecturer allowance, will that affect University B? University B will charge and pay their allowances. Today, if you are reading medicine in Unilab, it's different from if you are reading medicine in IFE. Go and see. This one may charge you 2 times because of the intake and because of their location. And because they have extra money, they can take care of their lecturers' allowances. So where will you have the university lecturer going struck all over the nation? It's over.
It's over.
Because most of these allowances, since the president said that he will not remit anything you charge, keep it to yourself, take care of your lecturers. So the issue of this strike will be over, and believe me sincerely, with this being over, you will see that most of these universities are competent and better to even produce than the so-called universities that we are not even sure of their quality.
I'm going to give you the opportunity for the next 1 minute or less to speak directly to the president in terms of, Mr. President, this and this should be what needs to be done if we have to be able to create a sustainable economy. Over to you, sir.
Okay, Mr. President, we need to apply fiscal policy. We need to checkmate speculators and give them just a 2 weeks notice. Anybody fail to remit his foreign currency into the bank will forfeit it, and put incentive to whoever now become a whistleblower will be getting his 10% without any delay. You take us to Mr. A, we got the money, you take your 10%, and the whole money collected from him, forfeit it. Secondly, Mr. President, we need to increase our productivity. Whatever it will take to increase our productivity in the crude oil, let us do so. Even if we go beyond the OPEC, we can seek their permission to allow us because of our peculiar nature. And thirdly, we need to ensure that nobody price any stock other than Naira in Nigeria. We are Nigerian, we value our currency. Anybody decided to do otherwise should look somewhere else. At the same time, we should let those refineries, both the small and the big one, give them the crude oil in Naira form, let them sell it in Naira form, and therefore we don't need to remit dollars to import any product. Our refineries are capable of producing it. Give them in Naira, collect Naira, and make sure that you look over their selling and make sure that the door of our borders are closed so that we don't over-subsidize.
All right, thank you so very much. This has been an amazing, engaging moment and time, and I'm very sure we are going to obviously invite you again to explore other topics as the case might be. We want to say a big thank you, sir.
Thank you
for coming on Business Matters.
Viewers,
Viewers, please stay tuned. Business Matters continues after this short break. Well, there's so much we can bring to you on this week's edition of the program. You have heard it all. It's important for us to be able to work together, especially the government, in terms of creating a balance between the monetary and fiscal policies to help us get out of this quagmire so that Nigeria, which has been destined for prosperity, can actually have that, especially now that the people are crying out for what to eat and where to go to school and how to live. We can do it better if we are obviously less greedy and more of our brother's keepers. My name is Stephen Ipalbo Lawson. Bye for now.